psychic medium, intuitive counselor, energy worker, and mom to two beautiful kids. I am here to help people heal and to create the life that they were truly meant to have, as well as to connect them to their guides, angels, and loved ones on the other side, and also reassure us all that life goes on after we die. Very first video. This is meant for joining me. Welcome. And if you happen to have found me, you're likely intuitive yourself, as other psychics are often drawn to this work. I'm a social worker also by trade, and so I'm just really excited to be here, and I will be using a variety of oracle cards to give weekly readings and partner with some other friends of mine. I have had a lot of support to get to this point, and I'm really grateful and am excited to give back. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. Hey and welcome, this is Psychic Readings by Sarah, and I'm here to share with you your weekly oracle message. Today is November 22nd of 2022, and so there's a lot of twos in that date, so you might want to be paying attention to the number 2, the month of February, or the second day of any month as I go through this, but I have some other numbers for you today as well that I want you to focus on, so take which ones speak to you and leave the rest. Before I start, I just want to talk a little bit about gratitude. I've been reintroduced to gratitude again recently by a gal I met who self-published her own gratitude journal, and it made me realize it's been a long time since I spent time myself being grateful for the things that I already have. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Eckhart Tolle, often talks about gratitude is the starting point of abundance. The more that we appreciate what we already have, the more that those things can grow. So be grateful for what you have, and more of what you want will come to you. With that being said, today's cards, I ended up with 2, one that fell out while I was shuffling and one that I chose afterwards. I usually would use the main card that I actually shuffled for and chose as the foundation, and then I would use the pop-out card, as I call it, as the secondary supportive card. However, I'm going to use and speak about the pop-out card first, because it sort of leads into the main card. So today we have November 22nd, 2022, reduced to a single digit would be a 3. So as I speak about these cards today, you wanted to think about connections with the month of March for yourself in your life, people you know born in that month, people you know that may have passed in that month, things that may have passed in that month, and as well, you could spend some time thinking about special anniversary dates in that month. I know for me it brings up the loss of our husky at the end of March, and my daughter born at the beginning of March. You could also look at the number 3 in any month to see what surfaces and comes to mind for you, so that will help you guide your understanding of what the cards are talking about today. Birth of my daughter and loss of my pet were interesting that we're moving into this card, because this card is about grief, mourning, loss, and reconciliation. So as we let go of something, something else can come to replace it. So we'll see where that takes us. A couple other numbers, just because there's a few that spoke to me this morning. This card is 59. It's the first card that I'm going to share with you. It's a really cool looking card called the Wailing Tree, and the word reconciliation is at the bottom. I thought it was fire at first coming out of the tree, but it looks like it's more like fall, with the face of a man or woman engraved inside the roots and the trunk of the tree. And I believe those are just big golden leaves that are ready to fall off. With the sun shining behind them. Anyway, with the 59, when you reduce that, or add it together, I guess, you get 14. So you may want to be looking at, or 5, so you may want to be looking at the month of May, or the number 14, and how it's relevant to you as I speak about this card. The month of May could also be of relevance, or the 5th day of any month. So just spend some time seeing what surfaces, who surfaces in your life when you think about those numbers. And yeah, so this card has really got to do with loss, mourning, and some grief that can go go with it is you let go of things that no longer serve you and you say goodbye to them. It's not the same as, there's another card in this deck called, that's really about almost crying. This doesn't have tears shedding with it. It's more like leaves shedding in the fall. It's more like the rejuvenation that comes through the seasons when the trees lose their leaves and then the winter descends and then in the spring they grow new ones. The tree hasn't actually died. It has just gone into a phase or a cycle of hibernation and change, and then new growth will come following it. So when you think of the things in your life and the situations in your life going on right now, don't be afraid to let things go that aren't serving you anymore. Things that maybe you've been putting a lot of effort into without a whole lot of reward or return. It's okay to let those things go. Let those leaves fall. Let that past go, and trust that, you know, with the winter season that follows, knowing that the spring always comes and new life is always born. We can't really discover that new life if we don't let go of the old, which is what this card is really about. What else can I tell you about this card? It's the only way to make room for change is to clear the way and let go of the baggage. This card also asks us to feel the loss. So don't skip over letting go of the things that aren't or serving you anymore. Let those leaves fall one by one, and don't run from experiencing the pain that comes with the loss. You have to go through the grieving process. It's totally normal. It allows us to get closure over the past when we do it. If we skip over it because it's too painful, then we miss the healing and closure that can come from dealing with it and facing it. And that's true of any loss, whether it's a loss of death, of a pet to death, of a loved one to death, or the loss of any kind, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, loss of a home, you know, old things that need to be released. If you don't sit with them and let them work themselves through you, you'll end up not really having the closure you need. However, if you've been thinking about making a change, now is the time to walk away from the old and towards the new, to make room for the new. Even if you feel you failed somehow, you know, I failed my animal by how I wasn't there for them in those final moments, or I failed that relationship because I didn't know better, or I've had so much change and loss happen in my life that it's hard to start again because it seems like such a uphill climb when you have built an empire and then a storm comes and blows it all away. So there can be this sense of failure, but in only the failure do we learn how to succeed, only by trying again and continuing to try, because failure is part of success. It's inevitable in success. One of my favorite quotes is by Wayne Gretzky, and he said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." So you took a shot, something didn't work out, and you can't give up. You can't get better at scoring goals or at life if you don't miss the net and miss scoring along the way. That's the only way to get better, and really the only thing that differentiates a failure from a success is that those that kept trying eventually got it right. So it's really only our perception of it being a failure that it can be defined by that. Nothing is a waste. No experience is a waste. If we learn from that and grow from that, and as we know better, we do better. So this card is just all about embracing all of that and going through those stages of loss. You know, there can be anger, there can be denial, there can be tears, there can be bargaining, there can be attempts to cling to the past, there can be refusal to move forward, there can be all kinds of things we go through as we're going through the grieving process, and we need to allow ourselves to do that. It's not always also about, okay, I'm done and now I'm in a new beginning. Sometimes they overlap. It can be both the ending and the beginning happening simultaneously. It can be, life can be happening to us that we're grieving something as we're starting something. We can be letting go of something as something new is coming in. We can be still dealing with the losses of the things that have come before as we are starting a new venture, a new job, a new relationship, in a new place, in a new home with new people. Can be happening at the same time. We just need to take time out to breathe and not rush those new things, but allow them to happen, but be considerate of what we are also letting go of and honoring that, and not skipping over that part, giving it its due time and space. So it's a really cool card. The next card is the main card. It's called Heart Home, and it's about compassion. It's a really pretty card. This is a card about really coming home to yourself, to your heart, to that peace within, that no matter what the external circumstances are, the changes going on around you, that you can always feel safe and secure when you sit within yourself. No one can take that from you. I had a few notes here. I just want to see if I missed anything. You know, this is about self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others, and recognizing there's nothing to forgive in yourself or in others. Everything that happened really is only our belief in that story that defines it as having happened. So none of it really occurred if we choose to allow love to wash it all clean and just act from a place of love now moving forward. Just love moving forward for all of the losses and events and circumstances and people and places and traumas and things that have happened to us. If we just, moving into the present and into the future, try our best to come to those circumstances from a place of love and compassion for ourselves and for the others around us, then the past is irrelevant. We just need to move forward with love in our hearts every day as we walk into the future. You know, this also is about not judging ourselves for our mistakes. We all make mistakes. We've all been through situations that we wonder, why wasn't I able to see that? Or why didn't I know better? How come I let that happen? What should I have done differently? The what ifs, and then the beating ourselves up, and then the beating of other people up, judging other people for their choices and what they did wrong. And this card is really about not holding judgment on others and just trying our best to be at peace with everyone, regardless of where they're at in our lives or how they feel towards us. It's really about doing our best to be like the Dalai Lama and be at peace with everything around us, whether or not those circumstances around us are in the same place as us and able to convey that same emotion. We can help others get there by conveying peace and love to them, if they choose, and then we can accept if they don't as well. But we can be at peace regardless of whether others are at peace with us, because within our own hearts we are at home and we know that we are loved, if not by the world, then by ourselves. And what greater gift do we have in this life than to learn to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, and then be able to forgive and love others for their choices, because people don't hurt people if they love themselves. If the people and things around us that have hurt us, we continue to look at as though it was an intentional personal attack, then we fail to see that the brokenness in others is what causes them to hurt us in the beginning, and the same thing with us towards them. We are all a mirror and reflection, remember, of each other. So if we heed its call of compassion and letting go of preconceptions, then that's in our best interest, because if we refuse to come at each moment that's presented in front of us from a place of compassion and love, a harsher reality or a harsher calling will come to us. The more we can operate from love and compassion and openness, the more that love can be returned to us in equal measure. And so our ability to heed the call of the heart home, coming home to our own hearts. This card is a 27, so you might want to think about when you were about the age of 27, or if you are 27. It's also a 9 reduced to a single digit, so you can think of the month of September or the 9th day, my birthday, of any month, to help you figure out what relationships, people, situations, time frames this card is really speaking to in your own life or in your relationship with others in your life. So that is your weekly oracle message. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will see you again soon.